We had to go in for a C-section, which was unplanned. That's when my mental shift I was like, oh, this is emotionally really going to be tough.
Epidural, it's fentanyl.
Yeah, it is.
Y'all are just high the whole time.
We don't get the boost of oxytocin in our brains that make us think it was all magic. We're just like rationally experiencing it all.
Oh wait, are you guys saying it's harder for the dad?
No.
I finally get to sleep after like 2 days, and then 2 hours later, the nurses come in. I love the nurses, but I literally like, you guys are a joke. I don't even know if people like sat down with you guys and talked it out like this. The nurse like comes over to me and she's like, you're losing more blood than like you should be.
What's up, dudes?
And welcome back to the Unplanned podcast.
Woo!
Woohoo! We are joined today by my brother and sister-in-law. Let's give it up for Caleb Howard and Abby Howard, who literally have the same name as my wife. They just
Can't stop talking about it.
We can't. Yeah,
It's either confusing or convenient.
Everyone knows that at this point, right?
I'm pretty sure. I think.
Unless you're new.
Yeah,
If
unless
you're new, we have the exact same name.
Mm-hmm.
which I think really throws people off.
They're like, how are you guys related? Like, as if first names run in a family.
We talked about that last episode, right?
We did.
So they should just watch the...
Yeah, if you haven't watched that one, that was pre-birth, and now they just literally had a baby. You're about to celebrate 3 months of having a baby. So congratulations.
Thank
Let's
you.
just give it up.
He's so cute. He's right here.
He's literally right here. He's just chilling with us. While we film
He's a
this.
good baby.
He is a good baby.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
How's the parenthood life going?
I think it's been really an easier transition than I thought it was going to be, thankfully.
No way.
Yes.
I feel like I'm so curious because for us, I feel like it was almost
It was the opposite.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely the opposite.
I really love that for you guys.
Wait, it's been different. It's been easier.
I think
How?
everyone, a ton of people we talked to were like, you just got to get through it. Like, people really, like, the first 3 months, like, it's just, you'll blink and it'll be past. And, like, so I was prepared for the worst.
Yes.
But I think we literally got the best baby ever.
Yes, I think it does make a difference. He barely cries. Like, we talk about that a lot. He doesn't really cry. So little
You guys have that experience, right?
We went to the doctor. So little that when we went to our pediatrician, we asked him, he asked how he was doing. And we were like, well, he's good. Is he too good? Like, is he so good that something's wrong?
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't, he only cries when he's hungry and when he's got a bad diaper.
Yeah,
and just kind of sleeps when he's tired. I don't know.
Genuinely asking, like, is there something wrong? Like, is he mute? Or...
Yeah,
Is he a mute?
Like, we were scared. But he hears good and he startles, so he said he was okay.
Great.
I love how chill he is right now. I'm just like looking at him.
I love that he's just literally like making eye contact with you, being fully entertained. This is our first live show.
Our first live show?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
He's
It's our
live.
first?
We have a live audience.
Oh, we have a live audience member. That's really
Live
cute.
studio audience.
No, but
Audience, clap your hands.
Wait, they just find out that they're live on. You're like, wait.
You're not going to edit this to make us look good? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I love that. I love that he's been so good for you guys. I really do. I'm really happy that it's been.
I'm so happy for you.
I really
But
mean
here's
that.
the thing, Matt. It doesn't, like, your experience still has been, like, they're still doing all the same stuff.
Yeah.
And you guys are just, I've thought of this about you since being married. I don't think I've really told you, but, like, the way that you have transitioned into motherhood has been, like, so incredible to watch just because it's so natural to you. Like, just seeing you is so in tune with everything with your baby and this whole process, and it's really inspiring for me to
Wow.
watch.
Thank you.
And the way that you just handle everything with so much joy. And, like, every little thing about it, you can just tell that it just, like, fills you up, and it's really cool to watch.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't think that would be the case for me, truthfully. When we found out we were pregnant, we talked about this before, but we were felt very unprepared. And I think emotionally, spiritually, financially, just kind of felt a little, I think I just said it, unprepared. And then as the time went on, I could not picture myself with a newborn. I did not know how that was going to be. And even seeing you guys with Griffin, I feel like gave us a really good picture of, okay, here's what the time commitment looks like. Here's what breastfeeding looks like. And you guys set such a good example for us. So I was like, okay, I feel like I can picture it. But when we would go visit Griffin, if he got upset, we would hand him to you. You know what I mean? You were the parents, so you would handle the hard things. And so I just never pictured, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be that person that they're going to hand the baby to when he gets upset, or, you know. And that really freaked me out.
I think I changed Griffin's diaper once, and I'm like, I'm good. But now obviously I change his diaper daily.
Yeah, I think so. We just did not feel parenty, but then when he came into the world, I appreciate you saying that because I do feel like it did change kind of instantly. Where I was like, oh my gosh, I love the newborn stage. I love just watching him and all of the things that seemed so terrible, like snuggling him when he was crying or changing his diapers or being up late in the middle of the night to feed, did feel very sweet.
Is that only different. A mom thing? Did you feel that same way, Matt? I know, Abby, I feel like you've said that. Like, you've felt the same, right?
Well, okay, something I did feel guilty about is with both boys, but especially with Augie, maybe it's because the birth happened so fast, but, like, when he came, I didn't feel like, I wouldn't say it was instantly like you said. Like, I think it was like, I was like, there's a baby in here. That's my baby. Like, I had to, like, remind myself almost, which, like, I felt kind of like, I feel almost guilty to say because I didn't have, like, an instant moment. But then, like, as each day, especially as things started to get more normal, especially when we left the hospital, I started to feel that, like, it came in like a rush of emotions. But I wouldn't say it happened instantly. I don't think, Matt, I don't want to speak for you, but did it happen instantly with Augie?
Like the connection?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I think I'm so much more connected to Griffin, and we like joke lightly, right? Because like we love our boys equally, and obviously it's like easier to connect with like Griffin right now since he can interact with us, and like I'll laugh at him and then he'll laugh back at me, and then and he can like he's starting to say words now, and so it's just like so much easier to connect with him, but it doesn't change the way that we love our kids, but it is harder, I think, when they're that little and you're literally just keeping a human alive to have some sort of close relationship, really, when they're not really able to interact with you.
So I'll ask, let me reframe it maybe slightly. I feel like moms, when they are, even though it's still like growing, in time, obviously you get closer, but you know, you're breastfeeding and you're doing that every 3 hours for 30 minutes, whatever it is. Now you with Griffin, and it's your second. Do you feel like you have that connection with Augie? I feel like, do you feel like you get to parent? I feel like I just had nothing to give and I didn't have that connection, and I'm just like, oh, he's just kind of there. But every month as he develops more and now he can make eye contact and now he's starting to smile, like I'm feeling like I can actually be a dad more. And in the first early weeks and months, it was like, I'm just here.
Well, I thought it was funny because your sister-in-law was giving you crap for coming over to our house, and I think your son was here, and then Griffin was here, and you went to go say hi to Griffin first. And she was like, are you serious? You're not going to say hi to your own kid? But it's just like, but it's true, though. Like, you can't, when they're really, really young, you can't have that same sort of, like, relationship. You still love them so much, but it's like, he's not going to remember that you went and said hi to Griffin first. No. And it doesn't change how much you love your kid, but
Griffin, when he sees me, it's awesome.
Yeah.
He really likes you.
I think that you're the favorite of Griffin.
I'm trying to keep it that way. I'm trying to keep it that way.
You're definitely one of Griffin's favorite, and it's cool how he's gotten old enough.
You want to go see Caleb? He came. He like stopped what he was doing. He started walking in.
Oh, my heart.
It's so sweet.
It's so cute. Yeah, I think maybe. Let me go back. I don't know if it was instant, like after birth, but I think maybe because CJ was in the NICU for a couple of days, that when he finally got to come to our room and like I got to spend more than like 30 minutes with him at a time, I was just I'm like, oh my gosh, this is finally our baby. Yeah. And I think that was maybe where like the joy switch happened. It was like right at the end of the hospital stay when I was like, oh my gosh, he actually feels like ours and we own him. And he's not just, So I think that was when that happened.
Okay, you just said something that I feel like totally, we're like, whoa, we need to like rewind a little bit. Yeah, you guys, like, you had to go through the whole NICU thing. You guys were in the hospital for a while. What was your birth experience and that whole event? Was that anything of what you expected at all?
No. Not even in the slightest.
Not even slightly?
You said something when you talked about your C-section. You said it was so beautiful. And after listening to that, I remember sitting there and I was like, I think our birth was a lot of things, but I would never describe it as beautiful, which made me kind of sad thinking about that. But it was, I think we had almost every curveball that I felt could have happened.
You, think it's okay to say, like, you met up with one of our nurses in the hospital, and like obviously we want to have more kids, but just thinking about the whole hospital situation, and this is not a knock on any of the doctors or nurses, they made the experience as best as they possibly could have made it, just medically and what happened. Like, I don't have good thoughts about the whole birth process. Like, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, I think we've had to process a lot of what happened. So I'll just kind of fill in.
Wait, hold up. What were your expectations going in?
I thought, I'm active, healthy, young. Like, I'm just going to go in there and push this baby out and it'll be awesome. And I was expecting pain. I was expecting that. Like, none of that. I wasn't really scared at all for labor. So I'm like, every labor is beautiful. Like, it's going to be such a cool experience. And I would say that it was up until after 3.5 hours of pushing. I thought it was cool and awesome. Like, I would go into the hospital tomorrow and have a baby and push again. Like, I just thought that whole scenario was so cool and empowering and fun. And it was mentally extremely draining and exhausting, but like, we were laughing, we were having fun. I mean, I have sweet memories of us, and there are emotional ups and downs during it and things that were hard that happened during the actual like laboring part. But then pushing for 3.5 hours, CJ ended up being stuck and his head could not descend under my pelvis bone. And it was kind of in like a weird positioning, and then ended up getting an infection. So we had to go in for a C-section, which was unplanned. And that was kind of, in my mind, that was where the switch turned from like, oh, this is cool and joyful, to holy crap, we're pressing the restart button on something that we've just put so much time in, like 60 hours, 3 days of time into this, and my body is so exhausted. And now I'm about to press start and do it all over from the beginning. And I was so sad about that, truly.
Yeah, for a lot of people, I feel like C-section is the worst case scenario. So
yeah,
I remember we were talking to you guys. I think we went and saw the Barbie movie together, and you guys were so excited. You're like, tomorrow's the day we're gonna go like meet our baby, and you were I think it was like some sort of like tablet or something that you were getting to help induce labor, and we were like so excited for you, but also at the same time like, oh crap, I don't think they realize like what this is about to be. And we had no idea that you guys were gonna, like,
obviously
we had no idea what to like fully what you were gonna go through, but we knew. We had a feeling it was going to be a lot more than what you expected. And so, like, one day went by and, like, the baby wasn't there. And then it was, like, 2 days went by and it just, like, kept taking longer and longer. Were you... I don't know. I mean...
What were things you were doing during labor to keep your spirits up?
I mean...
We were excited the whole time, I thought.
Yeah.
I
thought it was really fun. We went on lots of laps. We walked around the hospital a bunch because I was on Pitocin at that point once I got admitted. So we were walking around, taking laps, laughing, joking. The nurses were so fun. We loved chatting with them. I mean, we had music going. We were praying. We were reading. We watched a little bit of the show Quarterback, on Netflix. I mean, we were just keeping our mind busy. And then once I got...
It felt like a middle school sleepover slumber party.
Caleb kept saying that because all the nurses were out. It was middle of the night on Saturday, and all the nurses were out there chit-chatting and laughing.
And we were having snacks.
We were having snacks and like soda, and he was like, this literally feels like a slumber party. And
Cute.
It did. It was so fun. But then I feel like when I got the epidural, I just was not mentally prepared for my body to feel paralyzed. And that was kind of crazy. I feel like that's when my mental shift I was like, oh, this is emotionally really going to be tough.
You couldn't move anything?
No, mine was so strong. He had to lift my legs. Like, I was so dead.
Shoot.
And it felt like pins and needles in my legs the whole time.
It's so crazy how different experiences with the epidural are, because when I got the epidural, I literally looked up, can you get high from an epidural? You literally can't. There's nothing in there that can make you high. It's just like something can happen when it's like you feel so much relief. Like, I felt so much relief. I was like in a euphoria. So you took a video and I was like goofy. Like, I was like, I thought I was high.
No one talks about this. Epidural, it's fentanyl.
Yeah, it is.
It's fentanyl. And then I Googled it because we just watched like a war movie recently, and they use like morphine, People get shot and they give them morphine. I'm like, okay, what is this compared to morphine? It's like 100 times more powerful than morphine.
That's insane.
And what does that tell you guys about how painful it is?
That's insane.
It's like you get shot.
It's like they're on the battlefield, bro. Like birth is like the
I
battlefield,
felt like
and
I
they're
was on
getting
the
this
battlefield,
medicine.
and then all of a sudden I was given like the best thing in the world. I was literally like, I can feel a thing, and I was so relieved. I thought that I was high.
Yeah. Honestly, I hated the epidural, but I would do it all over again. I had a weird reaction. Like, I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought I was having a seizure. Like, I couldn't, and I know the shakes are common, but I couldn't control any of the muscles in like my face, my body. Like, I couldn't even move my hands to like press the button for the
See, I
med.
could
Oh my
still
gosh.
feel contractions, so I couldn't really sleep.
Really? Through your epidural?
You
I
could
could
move
still
your
feel that.
hands.
No, I'm sorry. I couldn't like stop the shaking enough to like, I was like trying to press the button and I was really struggling. Like, I was shaking so intensely.
You were.
Did that give you anxiety?
I had
Yeah,
the
it
shakes.
did.
I had shakes too.
Yeah, which I think is really common.
They put heavy blankets on me because I was like,
Yes. Yes, yeah, you can't control.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's just
but
like,
they also didn't give me a button to get more.
oh, they did give me that.
Is it because you're
I'll tell you
cold?
why
Were you
yours-
shivering?
I didn't feel cold. Mm-mm.
Okay.
But once they kind of changed your position, they sat me up and they gave me sugar. Brought my blood sugar back up and I felt better. But I don't know, just the whole thing kind of freaked me out. And then just feeling like I couldn't move. So I feel like that kind of changed my mood a little bit from giddy to kind of I'm like, okay, this is getting tough.
Yeah. You guys sent us this video of you walking in the hallway at the hospital, and you looked so happy and so excited, and I just felt horrible for you guys. I'm like, they feel like they're gonna have this baby like so soon, and I just knew that it wasn't gonna happen anytime soon. I just knew, and I was like, oh, I hate this for them.
Aw.
Like, it's brutal.
It's
you
a dose
know?
of reality.
It's so amazing, but then it's also just like so brutal, and
Yeah.
I didn't want you guys to have to go through that.
I don't
Aw,
feel like most
sweet.
women look back on it several years later and think of it as brutal, Matt.
That's what I think. I think it has to be the hormones that are released after birth. I really do.
How much
'Cause it's
did
like,
I
We
traumatize
don't
you?
get those hormones.
we don't exactly. Do you remember it how it was?
You didn't
Yeah.
have a hormone release?
We don't get the boost of oxytocin in our brains
No.
that make us think it was all magic.
Well,
you know?
I had a boost of oxytocin in my IV.
It's true, they do give us
I
that.
was like, what is that?
Happy juice.
You came. I remember when
Y'all are just high the whole time. And we're just going through
This is
it.
right,
great.
and we're just like rationally experiencing it all, and we're like, this
Sleep
is
deprived, sleeping on a couch.
Oh, wait, are you guys saying it's harder for the dad?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that. Are you saying that?
I don't know.
Rip them in the comments, please.
Everybody tap them.
I'm the oppressed one here.
Ooh, you're gonna get it when you get home. That's not nice.
That's not nice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I
Okay.
feel like we should give Caleb a briefing on like what you can and can't say on social
Oh,
media.
hello?
I don't know.
You need a briefing.
Filters
You've been
off.
canceled like 4 times.
Okay, what was the timeline from the tablet to the Pitocin to the epidural?
So we went in Friday morning pretty early, got the first round of Cytotec.
Okay.
Which was a very easy experience. Had that whole day. We came back. We went to the movie.
Not an oral pill.
No, it's not.
Oh,
That was surprising for him, bro.
Where does the pill
Surprising for
go?
me.
Surprising for me. Oh, you didn't know going in? Vaginal.
Up the
Up-
vagina?
Don't say it.
Can you not say that?
I don't know. Oh, wait, you can say anything
You
on
got
the podcast.
demonetized now.
You can say vagina on YouTube.
Just
dude.
stop.
Careful.
I don't
We're
know.
just teasing you. We
What
don't
are people
know.
telling their kids to say these days? Is it like pooty or something? Like, what do they tell their poot? Or
I
like,
don't
what is
Well, I
know.
know these are squishies.
So these are squishies?
Yeah.
Are you guys going to use those terms for your kids? Like
No,
all
I'll probably
the.
just call them what they are.
Yeah.
I don't think that's weird.
I think it
Breasts?
makes
We'll
Abby
probably
uncomfortable.
joke and say
Okay,
it
well,
too.
when my little 2-year-old like kids I would nanny would be like, my penis hurts. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Like, does it?
What?
Tell your mom.
I
I
never
would have
had
felt a little better with pee-pee, honestly.
Remember we used to call boobs ooies when we were kids?
it. I did not remember that.
Was that just me?
I think it was.
Maybe I just made that word up.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But now
back-
that you say that, I remember you saying.
Yes. I used to say that.
But I don't think I did.
Why did it come up so much,
We'd
Matt?
call each other buttheads too. That was like our biggest insult as kids. We'd be like, "You're a butthead."
Yeah. Butt in our house was a bad word. We'd have to say tush.
I know. When I say
So when we were fighting, we would call each other buttheads and we would get in trouble.
I said butt to Griffin today, and I was like, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Feels wrong.
We gotta be careful what we say from him. He knows
Even
words
crap.
now.
Even when I say crap, I'm like, oof.
He understands
He
everything.
could repeat that, and then that's gonna sound really bad.
Is
coming
it
from
weird
our
that he
1-year-old
like
son.
understands words but can't say anything back?
Yes. His-
Like I'll be like, Griffin, go get your sippy cup, like a whole sentence, and then he'll just go do it.
Wow.
when he
That's
eats
crazy.
food now, his
But
one
I'm like,
word.
you can't say it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Do you think he's playing with you?
Yeah, I think
No,
he'll
he
just
can't
sign.
say the words very well.
Maybe we
Love it.
shouldn't have done baby sign because maybe that's why he's not.
No, but he'll say more. He loves food so much. He'll be like, Ma, Ma, Ma. He just keeps doing that for eating food.
I love
We'll have to show you.
Griffin
But,
so
but we
much.
sound it out for him, so he'll go more.
Oh,
No, but he goes Ma.
More like ma.
He
yeah.
says Ma.
he is so smart, honestly.
Anyway.
Sorry, my ADHD got the best of me there.
No, that's okay.
Back to what you were saying
Yeah.
about the pill.
Okay, so Friday morning we went in for Sinotech first round.
Okay.
Then we labored at the movie. Contractions weren't too terrible. Went back Saturday morning, got the second round, and then while I was there, they're kind of. I mean, I just hadn't progressed that much, so then they gave me the Foley balloon, which people are so. There's a lot. I was so scared for that. People were very dramatic about that on TikTok. You guys don't go to TikTok,
look at
for
TikTok for
medical
anything.
advice because people want to scare you. It really wasn't that bad.
No, the algorithm's just gonna post the most over the top video, which is
Yeah.
gonna be a negative.
Experience.
You know?
It's entertaining. It gets
Yeah.
people
Yes.
to watch the whole thing to the end.
If someone says, I took this pill and it was a great experience, no one's going to watch that
Yeah.
or care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's really true.
Yeah. So we got the balloon. Then they sent us home to like labor. Went
This
home,
thing's
had
a full on
contractions.
water balloon.
So they pulled it out. I almost punched the nurse.
So that goes up there too?
Yes.
Is that kind of annoying for you guys, having stuff constantly shoved up there?
Well, that's why she got an infection.
When you're pregnant?
She didn't
Oh
like
my gosh.
It definitely. Well, I had that. Once you get that epidural, you don't feel anything. You're kind of like do whatever you need to.
Okay.
You get to a point. I never understood when my mom said this. She's like, once you go through labor, you don't care. You really don't care. It gets to a point where you're just like, do what you got to do. Put it up there. Pull it out. Stick me with anything you need. Like you just kind of are like,
see what you need to see.
do what you need to do. You know?
Literally. This episode is sponsored by Vegamore. I remember distinctly a couple years back, I was talking to my friends about hair, and I was telling them what I use for my hair wash routine. And they were like, girl, out of pure love and care for you, you need to update your hair care routine. And so ever since then, I've really tried to clean up my products and really look at the ingredients of what I'm using to make sure I'm taking care of my hair, because I have one head of hair. This is what I got for my life. I want to take care of it. And that's why I'm really excited to be trying Vegamore. The great thing about Vegamore is that they have good ingredients that are going to help your hair grow visibly thicker, fuller, shinier, and longer without all of the harsh crap that's in a lot of the more affordable things. Matt, didn't you use shampoo and conditioner from the Dollar
I used
Tree?
to use shampoo and conditioner from the dollar store. I am proud to say that I no longer do that. I used it in college. I was not aware of the of all the ingredients.
And
I just
also-
never read the ingredients, honestly.
And the ethics of it, and that's the great thing about Vegamore is that every cute pink bottle is 100% cruelty free, and
Ooh,
they're never
okay.
formulated
Okay.
with potentially harmful chemicals or hormones,
That's
things
good.
like that. Vegamore is actually having their biggest sales of the year going on right now, so it's a great time to stock up on all of your favorites. If you're new to Vegamore, you can try out their Grow Essentials kit, so it'll have more of their products that you can test out and try out, but for great savings. So for a limited time, go to vegamore.com/unplanned and use code unplanned at checkout to get in on Vegamore's biggest sales of the year during their Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales. So that's vegamore.com/unplanned, code unplanned to get the best deals on Vegamore's line of products. Vegamore.com/unplanned, code unplanned.
now back to the episode.
When they pulled the nurse, Shannon, she's like, I'm going to pull this balloon out. And I go, what do you mean you're going to pull it out? She said, I'm going to pull it out. She goes, 1, 2, 3, and yanked it. And I go, Shannon! And I grabbed her arm. I literally almost punched the nurse.
Oh my God.
I go, I'm so sorry. I almost punched you.
Most of our nurses were like younger girls, like under 30 probably.
Yeah.
But Shannon was like the one that's like, she's been around the block.
Yeah, she's
Not
been
saying
working
she was
forever.
old, but she's like,
She's experienced.
She's a
Shannon's
straight
seen some
shooter.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just was like, we're just going to get this over with.
Yeah, she's like, we're just going to do what we got to do.
She wasn't gentle. So then after that, I had been dilated enough once they pulled the balloon out to get admitted and get Pitocin. So that was maybe like 3:30 on Saturday, and then I got the epidural around 11:30 that night.
Wow. So it all started Friday morning. Then you had the whole Saturday thing with the balloon and the Pitocin. And then you said what happened at night?
I got the epidural that night.
Gotcha.
Yes. And then that was when I was kind of, okay, we're in the bed. And it wasn't until 3 p.m. the next day that I was able to start pushing. And it was similar to you with Griffin. We hadn't progressed at all and then progressed super fast within like an hour or two. And so they kind of made it seem, oh, you're going to start pushing. Your baby's going to be here within the hour, maybe 2 hours max. So we texted all of you guys to come to the hospital thinking that our baby was going to arrive. CJ was going to be there. Ended up pushing for a lot longer than was expected, 3.5 hours, which I think I maybe said that. And then, yeah, everything tumbled back down and having to go into surgery.
Did you get any sleep before all of that?
Yeah, like in and out some. Yeah.
No.
What were you doing, Caleb?
Trying to sleep. I had an eye mask.
Yeah, he has an eye mask that he wore that says, "Will you be my bridesmaid?"
Wait, really?
It's the only one I
mine.
have.
It's yours?
It's silk. It's really nice.
Beautiful.
So I'd flip it inside out so no one could read it.
But isn't it like not as comfy when you flip it inside out?
Yeah, because the embroidery of "Will you be my bridesmaid" across my eyeballs.
When did you realize that it wasn't going to be the fun slumber party sleepover that you thought it was going to be?
I mean, honestly, like even the sleeping on that couch like the first night was fine. It was once you went into like C-section.
Yeah. It was kind of a, well, wait, I want to share this story because I don't think we told you guys this. When I was getting the epidural, you know how they have your partner like sit in front of you? My legs, they raised the bed and my foot was rested on Caleb's knee. And during it, when they're putting the needle in my back, Caleb didn't realize his feet were like up on his toes and he moved his leg and dropped it and I go, what did I say to you?
I don't know.
I go, don't move a muscle or something like that. Like he shifted me when he was giving me the epidural.
So they were stabbing you in
That's
the back.
scary.
That's really scary.
Well, wow. They didn't let him be in when they gave me.
No, I was in there.
For Augie, no.
For Griffin, yes, but for Augie, no.
Oh.
He couldn't even be in there.
It wasn't bad at all. I was nervous for that. It wasn't bad. So yeah, I think it got more serious once we went into the C-section, and after that I was pretty much alone like the rest of the night, which I think was really hard. Yeah, you came in. They had Caleb come in later, like he wasn't there for any of the prep or anything in the C-section, so he was gone for like the first couple minutes when they were opening me up, and then after they had me opened up, they had Caleb come in. So I was alone for like the first half, and then once CJ came out, he was stuck in both directions, so I wasn't going to be able to push him out. And then his head, like they were having a hard time pulling him out the opposite direction, which was like, I think just proof that the C-section was the right move.
Yeah.
But also crazy when I look back on the video, you can like see that, like me moving on the table because they were pulling so hard. And then when he came out, he didn't cry for a while. I remember we were.
And I don't know if it was a while or like you're just expecting it, and so
Yeah.
time feels like it slows down, you know? It might have been like 5 seconds, but it felt like a while. I really don't know how long it was, but it did feel like.
Felt like a long time. And then when he first cried, we started crying. It was a really sweet moment. Yeah. And then Caleb got to announce, it's a boy.
Yes.
Which was so fun.
That was so fun.
That
There's
was
a
really
penis!
Yeah.
Did
We
we
were
say
like,
that?
fun. We actually like to say pee-pee on this podcast.
There's a pee-pee!
So that was really fun. And then maybe you can talk about like him going into the NICU.
Wait, hold up. Wait, pump
yeah.
the brakes for
Sorry.
a second. I remember you, Caleb, like you keep coming out like over and over again while we were there because like, you know, labor wasn't progressing. Then there was we had to switch gears and you guys had to do a C-section. I just felt like I felt so bad for you guys, but like I remember there was a point where like I think it almost looked like you were about to cry, and I was like, dang, like I do not want to be in his shoes right now. Like I didn't even know really what to say at that moment. How did you feel with all of that? Like were you keeping it together? Did you feel like you were about to fall apart since you hadn't gotten much sleep and then you just had a million curveballs thrown at you? Like how did you feel through all of that?
Yeah, I don't really remember. I also feel like in the moment I wasn't like processing everything, and I like was like just gotta get through it. I think mostly it was like sleep deprived, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember coming out before the C-section to Did I come out before the C-section and talk to you?
You
guys?
did, yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Really?
I mean, a lot of it, those like 3-4 days, really was like a blur. It just all kind of ran together, and
I mean, you guys were there for a long time. You guys came to the hospital around 3 or 4, and we didn't have CJ until 10:14.
That's
You guys
right.
waited so long, which is really, that to me is so touching.
That's
guys
sweet that
waited.
you're even thinking about that, because I was worried that, I don't know if, like, at what point it was like, maybe we should go because we're just like, it's on your mind that's like, oh, there's people here, and I don't know.
We just felt bad for you guys. We're like, who cares about us? Like, we can
Also,
just sit.
I was
We're just sitting in a
so
chair.
excited.
Like, we're not doing anything.
Like, obviously the birth plan did not go to plan exactly, not that you had like a strict plan, but I was like so excited. There was no way I would have wanted to be anywhere else. Like, I literally the whole day, Matt was trying to get me like do stuff. I'm like, we could be going to the hospital, like, what are you doing? And
Yeah.
I was like trying to make myself busy. I didn't sleep that night because I thought for sure you were gonna text us and be like, so I just like kept checking my phone. I was like, how are you sleeping? I literally woke up in the middle of the night. I was like, are you excited? Like, literally he just like,
Abby was really excited.
Oh,
and then I was like, I gotta just do something. And so I built that shuffleboard table up there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
I couldn't
I
do
didn't know you
anything
did it
like
that
actually
night.
productive. I felt kind of like what I would imagine like a dad would feel like during. Like, I was just like, here we go, it's game day. Like, I was like so excited. But yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else. But I was like, man, I hate that this isn't going like, so smoothly. But CJ comes. And he's a healthy guy, except a couple hiccups. And so that got him in the NICU. So you guys want to talk about that experience?
yeah, like we said, they pulled him out. Didn't start
By the way,
crying.
did you watch? I didn't even know this.
I didn't know what the rules were. Like the screen was there,
Yeah.
and I was sitting in a chair. I definitely could have stood up and like saw over.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been like a rule follower, and I didn't want to get yelled at, so I just stayed there.
Matt's a troublemaker. He didn't even sit down.
No, I stood up. I kept like I would stand
There
up and
wasn't
sit.
a chair
They
for
told
you.
me I could sit down and stand up. They didn't, like I had both options. There was a chair for me.
So
Gotcha.
pull him out. Does start crying. It's a boy. All of that. They go to like weigh him and everything, and they have this little like it goes over his mouth, and you can see his breathing and his like chest cavity is like really like he's working hard. The nurses were great, and they were like, "This is pretty normal. He'll be fine. He just needs some help getting some of the fluids out." And he was fine, but then they're like, "Yeah, we want to." Then they start. I hear them like paging, making their calls, like prepare, get the room ready for the NICU, and I'm like, "Okay, you're telling me this is like normal, but
So
because
you
I
didn't
don't
get
know."
to see him, Abby, did you?
They brought him over when I was laying there.
Oh, okay.
Just to get,
So
we
they
got a
did bring him over.
picture.
Yeah.
And I got to like look at him and give him a kiss. But yeah, it was maybe 30 seconds.
Okay.
Really? And that was it.
And we took a picture or two.
I forgot about that picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But there was a fleeting moment. I mean, they wanted to get him admitted.
It's good that
pretty
you got to
quickly.
see him.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
didn't get to see Augie much in that room anyway.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
doing
think that's
so many
uncommon.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's uncommon.
And then it was weird. So they take him to the NICU, and I'm like, do I be with my wife, who they're sewing back up? Do I go with my son, who he's in the NICU?
Yeah.
So it definitely was like a weird. I didn't know what to do or pick. I asked you, and you're like, go be with CJ. But that's when I went out to you guys and your parents. Is there anyone else that was there? Okay.
FaceTime your parents on.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
parents on
Yeah.
the phone.
And got to announce to you guys like it's a boy. And
Fun.
that was fun. But I also was like, I was excited telling you guys, but also like kind of stressed because I'm like, okay, yeah, they're sewing Abby up.
Yeah.
They're taking CJ to the NICU. Like I was like telling you, but then wanted to like bounce back and be with them.
Right.
Abby, did you want Caleb with you, or like, how did you make the decision on to have Caleb go with CJ or stay with you?
Well, in my mind, I'm like, this is pretty routine. I can advocate for myself. I can make my own decisions here. Like, I'm fine to go be a CJ and
Yeah.
make sure he's okay and talk to the nurses there and just, so I was like, please go with CJ. He's a little baby.
Yeah.
He's a little baby.
Yeah. But yeah, then I'm going to cry.
What?
Oh. You don't have to talk about it.
I feel like I have like processed it all, but I don't even know if we've like sat down with you guys and talked it out like this. But that's when things like got really scary. And I remember like Caleb left and the nurse like comes over to me and she's like, the anesthesiologist, she's like, we're gonna start giving you some more medicines and you're losing more blood than like you should be. And they were very calm but I can hear like the doctors, you can hear them through the whole thing. And I'm laying there and she's like, you're losing a pretty good amount of blood. And in my mind, I'm starting to like go in and out of like consciousness. Like I was so tired and exhausted and I'm like getting sick. Like I'm throwing up to the sides of me and I can feel them like putting pressure because I had started hemorrhaging and losing a lot of blood. And I think being alone during that was like pretty scary and like sad. And the whole night after that was just kind of a nightmare, not gonna lie. And I was alone for a lot of it. And not like your fault, I don't blame you. Mm-hmm. I told you to go be with CJ, but I ended up being in the recovery room for like...
Well, the nurse, I came back to see you because I was going like back and forth between the rooms, and she's like, yeah, recovery's, even out of the surgery room, like recovery is usually an hour to 2 hours. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I think I came back one more time, and the nurse was like, let me just get your number, and then I'll text you when she's going to the whatever's after post room, whatever it's called. I'm like, okay. I tried to stay up because this was like...
It was like it was almost 4 a.m. at this point.
Well, at that point, I think it was like 2. And so I like tried to stay up as long as possible because I was like, okay, within the next hour, she'll be out. And I was just exhausted. So I fell asleep in the NICU room with CJ. And I think I woke up because I was so exhausted, but I couldn't sleep at the same time. So then I texted the nurse, like, any update? And I think she was like, no. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, it's all blur. I mean, I was in and out of sleep too. Like, I think you came in and I was asleep at one point. But yeah, that whole like recovery afterward was just pretty sad.
Did we say it took, instead of like 1 to 2 hours, it was 4 hours?
Yeah, it was just, I mean, the bleeding they didn't know that the bleeding had stopped, but I just kept losing blood. Because, they come and press on your stomach and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be graphic, but yeah, it was just a lot, and they wanted to make sure that they had like closed the made sure the hemorrhaging was closed up correctly, and I actually had to stop bleeding. But at one point they came in and they were like, hey, if you keep losing blood, like, here are your options. And they just weren't good options. Like, I don't know what they were. One was surgery, and I'm pretty sure it would have been to go in and, I don't know. Like, I was like, would I lose my fertility with these options? And she's like, it's a possibility. So it was just like a lot to go through that night,
Thank you for opening up about that.
Yeah.
Hemorrhaging, what is that? I'm like,
what does that word mean?
Yeah, what does that word mean?
Honestly, I don't know. I just know when it means bleeding.
Yeah.
Like hemorrhage means blood.
Yeah.
I think.
It's like not clotting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was like your abdomen, your uterus, like all the above.
Mm-hmm. So when they took out my placenta, typically when you remove the placenta, your uterus contracts to cut off the blood vessels that were originally going into that organ. Mine was so exhausted just from the whole labor process and pushing for so long and then going into surgery. Instead of my uterus contracting, it just went limp. And so it didn't cut off the blood vessels and it just kept bleeding. So I ended up losing over half of my like hemoglobins. Wow. And they kept us in the hospital so long because they thought I was going to need a blood transfusion. But thankfully, I was healthy going in, and I had a very high level of blood before that. I didn't end up needing a transfusion.
Did you say how much you lost?
I lost over 2,500 units, which I think with a normal C-section, you lose about 1,000 units, and I lost over 2.5 times.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. What, like, could you see... I guess they just had to keep coming up and like wiping the blood away, or was it mainly internally, I guess?
Yeah, so it was internal, so they'd press on my stomach and
yeah.
Gotcha.
So it just kept, every time they'd press on my stomach, more would come out, and so they weren't sure if I was continuously bleeding or if it was old blood.
They weigh those like pads that we're on to know how much blood you've lost.
I will say during the whole thing, I felt very at peace, and maybe it's because I was so tired. I definitely felt like God's peace over me and all the prayers leading up to that point. Like I felt very I was like, it's okay. Like whatever happens is okay. Like This is part of God's plan for me. This was his plan for our birth. It's okay. But it was just, yeah. Now looking back, I'm like, whoa, that was really scary.
Isn't that interesting? I feel like the things like with birth, the beginning is such a cloud, but it isn't until later where obviously we had totally different birth experiences. But I'm thinking about with Griffin where I was like, yeah, I think I need to work through that. Like that was kind of scary. Like I feel scared about the thought of doing that again.
Yes.
And it wasn't until later because like right afterwards I was like, woo, like I don't know, I was in fantasy land, but it's so weird how that kind of comes later. But I think that's a very normal thing that I just didn't expect to happen.
And you were all by yourself through all of this, or Caleb did come in and check, or you had fallen asleep, or what exactly?
I came back. I think I came back like twice.
Okay.
But then when the nurse was like, "I'll just take your number if you're okay with it. I'll take your number and I'll text you updates." But then it was like 2-3 in the morning.
Okay.
Because I didn't know how long it was going to take. And Caleb was coming in, and I was like, I want you to be with CJ. It wasn't like, I was like, I want you to go be with him and make sure
I was
he's
there
okay.
when and it's crazy how they put IVs into babies. Like they literally use like a LED light, and you can see all the blood vessels and bones through their hand. So that's how they can find. But because they're just so small, and then they hooked him up to. He was on like a CPAP machine, so that kept his airways open, both for oxygen to get in and for carbon dioxide. What do we breathe out?
Yeah, you breathe out carbon dioxide.
To get out, and so he was on that, and then so the IV, he was like low blood sugar, CPAP, and then they put a tube into like through his nose, goes into the stomach, so that helps his stomach from not getting like upset. So it was just like a lot of like things hooked up to him. And then there's a thing on his foot that's tracking his heart rate. So even, which I couldn't pick him up for a day, but even when we could, it was just like all these wires and tubes and just really clunky and just
It was sad.
not easy.
Hey, real quick, if you could please share this podcast with someone that you love, that would be awesome. We really appreciate you guys sharing the podcast, and
Tell them to share it with another mother.
share it with another mother, your mom friend.
Share it with the
talk
But
about
not my
pregnancy.
mother.
or pregnant
Let us
friend.
know if you guys, if there's any topics that
or
are
don't
like
share it
not
because it might scare them.
relationship / marriage / pregnancy content. Like, let us know if there's like something you want us to talk about on here that's like not like that, because I feel like every episode is like birth, relationships, marriage. So but I don't know, I feel like we kind of have that in common with a lot of our guests. But let us know what you guys want to see. We love to hear your input and stuff. Anyway,
who should Matt and Abby have on their podcast next?
that's also good. Let us know. Comment that down below. I'd love to have Dave Ramsey on. Why do I think that'd be so much fun?
Ooh.
He was actually an inspiration for us with our finances, because I like read all of his books when I was 19 and want to learn how money works.
Baby
we could
steps.
financially afford marriage, and then we did.
You should have Dr. Phil and his
Dr.
wife.
Phil and his wife would be epic. That'd be so sick.
That'd be cool.
I still think you should have Zach Ertz and Julie.
Dude, I'd love to have Zach and Julie Ertz on.
Everyone tag them.
They're in Phoenix. They live in Arizona because Zach plays for the Cardinals, and then Julie is a professional soccer player.
Yeah.
She was on the USA team. That's
I don't know
insane.
if she retired after this last World Cup.
She did.
I have a part-time job with the NFL / Cardinals. This is pretty cool. When he comes out of the tunnel, I wasn't saying that was pretty cool. When
That's
he comes,
pretty cool.
when he comes out of the tunnel, he'll go straight to the stands first thing. And Julie walks down with their son Madden. He's on in all of his football pads and stuff like that, and he holds them and then I don't know if he kisses them, and then she gives them back. She goes up to their stands. But it's just cool to see him like interact with his son right before the game.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Back to the episode. Did you
Yeah.
get to do skin to skin?
No, not really.
Aw.
No, so I think that's kind of the next part that was hard was, okay, they stopped the bleeding, everything's good, I'm being moved out of the recovery room, and they said, do you want us to wheel you past CJ and go see your baby? And this was 4 a.m. This is the first time I had gotten to see him since he was born. And they wheeled the bed to the NICU. Caleb was in there, or you came back and got our stuff, so we were going together. And I go in there, and it's like this big bed, and he's turned the other way. Like,
That
I couldn't
was
even
sad.
see his face,
Aw.
which was really sad. That was probably the hardest part.
I can't even imagine.
Him not looking your way.
I like didn't even know what he looked like
Yeah.
for like a long time. And then yeah, it wasn't until like 3 p.m. the next day that we got to see him because I couldn't get out of bed. And they tried to get me out of bed. Like, they wheeled me back up 4 a.m. I finally get to sleep after like 2 days. And then 2 hours later, the nurses come in. I love the nurses, but I literally like, you guys are a joke. I don't know what crack you're on because I'm not getting out of bed.
Because they wanted you to get up and you're like,
Yeah,
okay.
like, you need to stand. I was like, I literally just lost half my body weight of blood and I haven't slept in days. And I sat up and I almost passed out, so they just let me lay back down. But I was like, get out of here. And then an hour later, the lady comes in to do the birth certificate and she goes, did you fill out the 96 questions? And I go, do I look like I filled out the 96 questions?
Isn't that kind of crazy? Like, they kept coming in, they were kind of like a little bit annoyed that we hadn't filled that stuff out.
Yeah.
And I was like,
What do you mean? It's 8 a.m. I've been here 4 hours.
they gave off you bath at 2 a.m. They came in, they're like, bath time?
My favorite is Abby's trying to walk for the first time in the hospital, and like people are like, "Hey, can I take a selfie with you?"
Oh, I can't
Pictures.
imagine.
Really?
On my
Sorry.
first walk.
I can't imagine.
It's just like, does it look like it's a good time?
I'm a dead girl walking.
Read the room.
Barely walking. Dead girl waddling with
girl
a giant
waddling.
pad on. Did not.
That
want-
reminds me, there was, I don't know if this person recognized me from stuff I've been in with you guys, but right after I told you guys it was a boy and went back when you were still in the recovery room, I guess, there was a nurse who was like, I don't know what she said, but she recognized me. And you guys are good at it. Like, you know what to, like, I didn't know what to say. Well, what did I say? I
think
told
you go, oh, nice.
I was like, okay. Like, I didn't know. But there were so many other things on my
No,
mind.
you cannot blame yourself. Like, literally.
Oh, nice.
I will say when
I'm weird every time, dude. I still can't help it. I'm just like,
No, you're not. You guys are good.
I'm
When I
still
was-
so awkward though.
Side note, when we were there waiting in the waiting room, people were trying to admit me. I was so big. They were like, they haven't got you in yet? And I was like,
I forgot about that.
I'm here for...
Wait, does that not break some HIPAA
I
law
really
though?
did want them to bring me in. No, I was like,
I don't think
Please,
so.
I'll go.
Like I know.
same day.
Take me.
Group birthdays.
If they're, which they're probably doing this, if they're like, man, Abby, you're in the next room. Like, that's probably breaking HIPAA laws. But if they're saying to you, like, hey, I know
Yeah.
you guys, that I don't think that's
Okay.
them recognizing you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But if they're going around and be like, hey, you know who's next door?
That's funny.
Anyway, not about us.
No, I was just asking,
Funny.
like, if, like, when someone recognized Caleb in the hospital, I'm like, does that violate HIPAA? I don't know. I really should probably read up on HIPAA. I know that's like a,
That seems like a lot.
maybe not.
Are
Actually,
we
I don't.
violating HIPAA?
right now?
How
Your
we
own HIPAA?
I don't think you can violate your own HIPAA. You can freely share
Well,
your
what
own
about
medical.
CJ's?
Oh,
That's a good
see,
point.
Honestly, that's a conversation
Cut it all.
that needs to be had.
Cut it all.
No, that's a really good point. Because it's like you have your story to share, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, at what point is it no longer your story to share?
I don't think
Well-
we'll share anything medically going forward.
Yeah, that does kind of freak me out. But then also, as the parents, you're the one who makes the decision.
Yeah.
Have you shared about your IBS?
Wait, what does that even mean?
Irritable bowel
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's what that is. Like me farting a lot.
or your back rash?
My back. I don't have back. You have back knee. I don't have back rash.
What about
Weird
your
level.
what's it called
What are
when
we-
you
how did
can't
this-
stop sweating?
What is this conversation turning into?
Hypohidrosis? You haven't
Let's
shared
just,
about
let's
that?
just clear the
Hyperhid-
air. I think we all probably have IBS because we're all like farting so much.
No, Matt,
Thanks,
this
John.
is serious.
Oh, it is.
yeah.
No, dude,
you
it's
like
ins-
can't. You have to run to the toilet.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's like it's a problem in our family, dude. Like no one can stop farting, and we just kind of let it rip.
Even
Okay.
for the Howards married in. No.
I know you guys too.
It transferred over.
I think it did transfer over.
Yeah.
That was only when I was pregnant. Why do you keep giving me so much grief for that?
I thought it was funny.
I gave up by
To the
the 8
couples
months.
that haven't farted in front of each other, just do it.
Yeah. When, no, dude.
Just do it.
When couples are like, we don't fart.
You spend too much
I'm like,
time together to
Something
be
is
keeping
wrong
that
with
in.
you.
Your belly has to hurt.
and we haven't
always think
farted in
about
front of each other.
We have
Not
friends like
cute.
that.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's
Are you
weird.
fully known if you haven't farted?
Like, if you're dating, I'm like, okay, you're dating, right? Like you haven't
Intimacy
married.
Yeah.
into me see including.
But you've been, if they've been married for a couple years and they haven't farted or pooped in front of each other, I'm like, you guys need to take a step forward in your relationship.
Yeah, take it to the next level.
That's the fifth
That's the fifth what?
base.
Fifth.
That's
fifth
fifth
base.
Trying to make a
base.
joke about bases.
That's the
After-
grand
after you-
slam.
It was inappropriate. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Moving forward.
Abby's trying to make a sex joke on her
No, it
podcast.
wasn't. It's a fart joke.
But like the bases, like a home run
I
is.
know,
We all know
okay.
what a home run is, and you just said that the
That's
fifth
the
base
grand
is.
slam.
I actually,
Grand slam.
full transparency, I do not know the base. And I
How
was
do you
thinking
not-
about that at Trey
You
Kennedy's
don't know
show.
the bases?
I was like, yep, I don't know second,
Abby,
third.
you
I
went to
feel like
public
everyone
school.
has their own definition of bases.
Just think about it
Okay,
logically.
maybe nobody knows the bases.
But you went to.
I think everyone knows what a home run is.
First base is kissing, and then the second and third are just the things in between.
You don't know the bases.
I do know the bases. Do you want me to literally
You just
spell
said
it
the
out?
things in between.
You don't know what the
We'll talk
things in
about it
between.
later,
Oh my
actually.
gosh,
I feel like
Abby.
you went to public school. You should know these things.
Yeah, you should. Hey, you're a public school kid.
You would be shocked at how sheltered you can be in a public school.
Wow. I went from Catholic school to public school, and it was a whole world that I had never experienced before.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, first week, I was like, what is that?
Okay, I was the most crazy of my friends, and that says something.
Wow. That's good, though.
They were all so tame.
That's what we hope for our kids.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
like, I hope
Wait, I
you're-
feel like Catholic school is worse than public school. I feel like there's some
High
crazy
school
stuff.
for sure, yeah.
Catholic high schools.
Yeah.
I feel like it depends on what crowd you run in.
That's.
You don't mean Catholic, you mean private.
Yeah, private school.
Oh yeah, but like the ones where it's like all girls and all boys, like I
Uh-huh.
feel like it just makes all the kids.
That's such a weird concept for
Unhinged.
me.
But
like
that's-
all
that's the-
girls high school.
That's
crazy.
the people that you knew.
I don't know. Oh really?
Like a recency bias?
I think some of them are
Devout.
like super nerdy and
No, I don't think it's like a faith thing. I think it's just like a, well, I think in
it's any
St. Louis
school.
specifically, it's a lot of very wealthy kids that go to private school. And so I think you just kind of have.
So they can buy the
St. Louis-
expensive drugs.
Yeah, I think so.
St. Louis is the highest. I don't know if it's private or just Catholic school per capita in the whole country. There's more private Catholic schools or just
In
private
St.
schools.
Louis,
Yeah,
Interesting.
in the country.
more than like Boston or
That is
like
weird.
some of those East Coast cities that have high. Yeah, per
Isn't that
capita
crazy?
because we have
Interesting.
lower.
I believe
Wow.
that though,
Population.
because when you go to St. Louis, it's like what high
So
school
when you
do
have
go
that
to?
many, you're definitely gonna have. It's not just gonna be like.
It's a
That
mixed
makes-
bag.
Okay, that makes sense. Wow.
We've strayed so far.
Where
but,
are we? Were we talking about
I
like
don't know
birth?
if you want to talk about like that. That was obviously a really hard time
Yeah.
being away from your new baby, but at that time you're also recovering and probably sleeping a lot and
Yeah.
just like trying to get healthy enough. So, yeah, how do you view that experience?
I look back on it with sadness, but I'm not angry about it or bitter because I do, in the grand scheme of CJ's life.
I mean, look at them.
Look
at him.
So precious.
Perfect.
He's a really cute baby.
Thank
like
you.
actually, and
Can you
babies usually aren't cute.
Can you say like objectively?
no? Seriously, dude, he's a really cute
adorable
baby.
and
Aw.
perfect.
Our
Thank
baby
you.
finally
And he's
got.
gonna be valedictorian.
I'll be honest, like
He's so smart.
I don't think newborns look very cute. Even my own kids, like at first, like it's kind of
They
rough.
scared us at the beginning.
He's always looked so cute.
They were so cute.
I think so too,
Thank
but then
you.
I'm like, is that just me?
Is that just 'cause we
Because
love
like
him so
everyone
much?
says that about
No,
their baby.
it's
He's
actually not. Like objectively, you have a really
beautiful.
cute kid.
Wow, thank you guys. We appreciate
From
that.
the day he was born.
Wow, that's
Yep.
sweet.
Because
I
he
remember
was
when
the
you guys
NICU
had
baby.
Griffin, I was like, he's the most beautiful baby
Oh
I've
my
ever
gosh.
seen. I felt like a mom. I was like, he is literally beautiful. I loved him.
Such a conehead.
We look back at him
and
now,
we're kind of scared.
and we're like, oh. I want to show him the pictures when he's older. He's gonna be freaked out. He's like, that was me.
That was a crazy experience.
It's hilarious.
You looked.
I had a
you
crazy
looked
baby
alien.
picture. I look back and I'm like, wow, it was an ugly baby.
No.
Yeah, it was.
It's kind of like the awkward phase that people go through in middle school. It's
Yeah.
like that's what you go through when you're a newborn.
Yeah.
Most kids, except for CJ. He's
Have
like the
you-
exception.
Sweet.
Side thought: have you guys put CJ or August or Griffin in a pumpkin or attempted to?
We
We
did put
attempted to put
Griffin
Griffin
in a pumpkin last year.
It made him sad.
He
Okay.
got sad, yeah.
Similar reaction to CJ's.
But yeah, you guys pulled him out really quick.
We
were
put him
like,
back in
"He
after."
got it. You put it back in?
We tried to get. We
tried
put
twice.
paper towels in there. and
Yeah,
put
we
it in.
lined
yeah.
it.
and he still didn't like it.
We got one picture, but you know, it wasn't like Pinterest.
No, never.
Never's like Pinterest.
Yeah.
Backtracking a bit, I can't imagine like after laboring for like literally days and then having a C-section and then hemorrhaging and then this like a nurse telling you, hey, by the way, you might like lose your fertility. That like, whoa, hold up. That was so fast. Sorry, I kind of like jumped back into that really
That's okay.
quickly. But yeah, like when did they tell you? Just kidding. Like it's okay.
Well, so that when I was in recovery, she came up to me and she said, hey, these are your options. If you're not bleeding, if it hasn't stopped, you have 2 options. One was like an ablation or something of the uterus to like kind of burn the lighting, I think, to help stop the bleeding. The second would have been surgery. And she goes, at all costs, we want to avoid surgery.
Okay.
She didn't tell me what it was, but she was just like, it'd be serious.
Is that like removing your uterus basically so that
I don't
you
know.
don't
Maybe.
die?
I don't want
Okay.
to say that's like for sure what it is because they didn't say, so I don't want to spread like misinformation. But it could have been like a hysterectomy or something with the uterus that
Okay.
probably would have affected having babies again. And I asked her, I was like, with the ablation, like, would that affect my fertility? She said the goal is for it to not, but
Yeah.
it's a possibility.
And we've always talked about having like 4.
Multiple kids, yeah. So that was really hard. But then they did an ultrasound on my stomach, and she was like, I can tell that it looks good. So then she was like, let's see what's going on up there.
Okay.
And it was just old blood from the surgery that hadn't come out. And so they were able to like flush out my system, and then I had stopped bleeding.
It's crazy what they can do medically
know.
to know that blood had been
was
not
old blood.
Yeah, old blood even.
I know. I loved my doctor and my nurses. They made me like I look back on this with like a lot of sadness, and I would say parts of it were traumatic, and I don't use that word a lot, but parts of it were very like, holy crap. But I honestly, there were times where I was like laughing with my doctors and my nurses through it. Like they were such an amazing team, and they made me feel really comfortable. And they were serious and conveyed the seriousness of the situation well without making me panic.
That's
So,
incredible.
It was good.
Yeah, even like when he was going and taking him to the NICU, they properly described the severity of it, I would say.
Did a good
And
job.
I mean, he was only in the NICU for 2 to 3 days.
3 days, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
It could
there's
have been so much
babies that
worse.
have many more
Yeah.
issues.
I mean, we look back on this and it was scary, but we're fine. We're healthy. CJ's healthy. So I'm like,
But
it's
didn't
okay.
they tell you though, hey, you had a C-section for your first, so that means you can only have X amount of babies going forward?
No. Okay, so when I was talking to my sister's a physician's assistant.
Okay.
And so we were just processing. She was helping me get through all the medical jargon and all that after. And we were talking and I asked her that, and she was like, there might be a limit just because of the complications with my uterus. She's like, you'll just have to talk to your doctor, but they
Yeah.
might not want you to have more than 3 because you could be at risk for a uterine rupture later on because you
Okay.
had complications here. But when I went for my post-op checkup, they're like, no, you were totally okay. Like looking at your notes and what the doctor said, you'll be fine.
Wow.
And I would be a candidate for VBAC if I wanted. So
Wow.
that made me feel comfortable where it's like, I still have options in the future, where I thought I didn't.
Do you want to do a VBAC?
I think I would try.
First
I
of all,
think
do you want more babies?
Oh,
so
yeah.
many more babies. I remember laying there and they're like pressing on my stomach. I can feel the blood coming out. And I was like, I would literally do this all over again for another baby. Like, it's so crazy and it's amazing. Just, it's like we go through hell and back for these babies and it's so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want more babies, Caleb?
Yes.
Have you got, you said that so quietly, I don't know.
Yes.
Could you imagine getting pregnant next month?
No.
That's what we
I
did.
No.
think about that.
Only an idiot would do that.
Use protection. Use
Literally
loss
at the 6th week, I was like,
Double
I'll take
up.
the pill. Thank you.
No, I was
Actually-
like, can I get an IUD? They're like, you're not ready. You need to come back.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you double up on condoms, it's actually worse because then they'll break.
Triple up.
Did you Google that?
I learned that in health class in high school. Okay.
That just sounds
Don't
painful.
put 2 on at the
Yeah,
same
don't
time.
put 2 on, and they'll both rip.
I thought you
Loose
Googled that
circulation.
recently.
Did you? Are you guys on birth control? Can I ask that? Is that
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna do the NuvaRing because I really liked that before, but it has the hormone in it that stops breastfeeding, so I'm just on the pill.
I
But
was gonna
last
ask. Oh yeah, go
How
ahead.
do you like being on the pill?
I don't like it, but
Okay,
I'm gonna be on it. Yeah, for
Okay.
at least a year and a half.
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
You don't like it either?
Well, I wasn't taking it. I can't get the timing
Why?
right. Well, it
I'll
just
let
makes my
her
energy
explain.
lower. My energy's lower.
The libido's lower.
Oh, that's why you don't like it.
That's
I'm more shy with these things, Caleb. It's okay.
I thought libido was the calmest word to use in that.
Yeah. I'm telling my parents to not watch this episode. But
Too late.
those are my only side effects from the pill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't have bad side effects.
I feel like our mom hated the pill. She told us that or something.
Didn't she start it when she was older though?
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this. I don't know.
Yeah.
HIPAA violation.
Okay, I was gonna ask. We kind of skipped over like the whole like feeding and sleeping and everything of the newborn stage. How did that all go? Breastfeeding is going good.
Yeah, it was good. So I think it's funny because we talk about this. Like we love the nipple shields with all of our lives and all of our hearts. And in the nurse,
I have a whole collection.
Like, which one do I want to use today? That helped so much because at first he was having a hard time latching, and then once we used that, it was like pretty easy.
Why do you think he had a hard time latching?
Yeah.
He's trying to expose you.
Anatomically, I need it.
Keep going.
Goofy.
I wonder what's the stigma around nipple shields.
I don't know. A girl messaged me the other day, and she was like, my lactation consultant told me my supply is going to be affected. I have to pump a lot.
They told me that I would have to pump 15 minutes after every feed if I use the nipple shield, which I'm not a medical person, but we would have had a real big problem if I pumped that much every time after I fed.
Big problem.
Two deep freeze problems.
Like how many gallons worth of problems?
Your whole garage would just be deep freezes.
Anyway.
I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind around how a little piece of silicone would affect your supply.
If that milk is still coming out,
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think they say that, I don't know, baby
We're
saliva
not doctors.
can.
Yeah,
We
we're
are not
doctors.
doctors or medical professionals.
We can speak from
This
our own
is-
experience, though. Works
It
great.
didn't affect anything.
Yeah.
It just helped a lot with latching. So I feel like the breastfeeding, the physicalness of it was fine. The commitment is crazy.
It's
No one tells you about. I mean, I saw you do it, but I still didn't even. Then physically doing it yourself, it's like, oh, okay, it's already been an hour and a half, and I got to feed again.
We had friends back in Kansas City, and when we were living there, and they had their first baby, she tracked how many hours a week she was feeding, and it was like close to 40. It was like close to a full-time job.
It's a lot of time. And also, I feel like you guys cannot wrap your head around the mental commitment of like constantly thinking, okay, where am I going to be? Will I be able to feed there? Are we going to be in the car? Oh, I can't do that because that's going to take an hour.
We have
It's UPS.
We just got a package.
That's going to be an hour, but he's going to
Come
need
on
to eat
in.
in 45 minutes at
Yeah.
least. And then what if he needs to eat early? Sometimes he gets hungry early or things like that. You're like,
Totally.
and you're like, he didn't eat very good the last time because he kept falling asleep. And so then I'm going to need to feed sooner than 3 hours.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. The amount of money that you save on formula, so worth it.
Oh,
Crazy,
gosh.
yeah.
It's just so expensive. So I'm really happy that we were able to make it work. And to touch on sleeping quick, he sleeps really good. So we haven't had issues. He's literally
27
asleep right
hours
now.
now.
Angel baby.
Yeah, he slept 9 hours last night.
Okay,
Good
do you think was
guy.
that scary trying to feed him right away after the birth? Because I know, didn't you like sleep like 9 hours after you know that whole scare, and then he went to the NICU. Like, didn't you?
Oh, he was on bottles for like.
Oh, he
while
was. So
in
you
the
weren't even
NICU.
breastfeeding at all. Did your milk come in? Like, were you?
I
engorged?
pumped a little bit in the
You did?
hospital. Yeah, but he did formula. So the first for a while after like he came home, I would breastfeed and then supplement feed with formula because I think he just needed like extra when he had jaundice and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once I got going in a rhythm, it came in just fine. It didn't affect anything.
Not to backtrack again, but like the day that morning we were supposed to leave the hospital. They're like, oh, he's looking a little jaundice. We're going to run a test and see if we need to put him under this light. And I'm like, okay, like how long would he be under the light? Like a couple hours. She's like, a couple days. And I was like, that's when I got like ticked off. I was like, we're bringing this baby home today.
Oh, because you were going to have to leave without
Yes,
him.
we'd have to leave without him and he'd be there like 3 more days under some light.
Sad.
I feel.
But then it came back and they're like, okay, his numbers are good. Just try to keep him in front of windows.
Wow. Can you imagine being a parent like with your kid just in the hospital for days?
I had
My
a friend
heart
who
breaks.
they had a preemie baby, and I mean months early, and it was months,
Oh my gosh.
like 4 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
The baby was in the NICU.
Even though I don't ever want to scare anybody with this stuff because it was crazy and it was intense, but it has been the greatest joy of my life. And
Aw.
even when I look back on that, I'm like, holy crap, that was a lot and terrible. But I'm so proud of us, and we're very strong, and women are so much stronger than
Men.
we think that we are. So much stronger than men. Stupid men. No, kidding. I'm not that girl. I love men.
you love men.
I love men.
Love man.
You
Singular.
love men or you love man?
I love this man. And yeah, being a mom is the best thing in the entire world, and I'll do it 10 more times. So
You're having 10 children?
No,
Wow.
no, cut it.
Actually, how many? Do you guys know how many kids you want?
I think 3 or 4 would be amazing.
Yeah, we've talked about a couple. Yeah,
In addition to the one, or like total?
Total.
Gotcha.
we had a good would you rather. Well, you have 2 now, but it was would you rather just have 1 kid, or where you're at now, or have 10 more kids?
My heart says 10, but my head
Oh my
knows
God.
that I couldn't love
Wait,
10.
be honest.
enough.
Are you serious though? Like you're not joking.
I said my heart says 10, but my head knows I couldn't be the mom that I'd want to be to each kid if I had
Yeah.
to.
I just view it as like obviously I love that we have, I need to stop talking. But like obviously the more kids you
talk
have,
about this every day.
but it's less time you
It's
get with
like
each
we
of them.
think we need to get pregnant right now because that's what we did
Yeah.
last time. So I'm like, we don't need to talk about this for like a while.
No.
But like,
What do you
okay,
think
anybody could agree that if you have 10 children, you're not gonna have as much quality time with those 10 kids individually as you would if you had 1 kid.
Right.
So it's like I think about every new kid as that. And it's like I want to have really good memories with my children. And so if you have a ton of kids, you just can't have that same close relationship with all of them.
But 2 is so cute together.
I love 2. I really, really like 2.
What do
Hey,
you
in
think?
2 to 3 years, when you're feeling up for it, we'll wait to have our next kid and we can have them together again.
What do you guys think?
Matt, the pregnant Abbies were iconic. I miss it.
Pregnant Abby.
The fat.
We were eating so good.
I was gonna say, was it Fat Amy?
The Fat Amy TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that what her name is?
What?
Maybe, I
I think
don't
that
know.
is her TikTok name.
Okay.
From the Thousand Pound Sisters?
Yeah.
That TikTok we made was kind of funny.
That
Yeah.
was so fun.
So iconic.
You guys were
pregnant
that was
together.
cute. You guys were cute pregnant ladies.
Yes. We were just eating good.
We're going to keep making packs.
How long do you
scared.
think that ideally do you want the gap to be between?
If you choose to have more kids.
We can't. Matt's saying no more babies.
Okay.
Right
So
now.
we'll come
let's
back
just
to-
let's just
we'll
talk about
table
it
it.
in a
You
couple
just need
years.
a break. You just
We
need a
need
nap,
bro.
You just
We've
need
been
to take a
we have
break.
been in the thick of it for so. Can we just take a break and like think about this later?
We'll table it.
We
You
keep
know what's
saying
not
that
bring
we're
it
not
up
going
again
to
for
talk
years.
about
Crazy
it.
is you guys are like young enough that you could literally wait 10 years.
I know.
Yeah.
I told
we wait
him
15.
that.
We
Yeah.
could literally have a kid in
I
15 years.
personally don't think I'm down for that, but
Our aunt had a kid at 40.
No,
our
I-
grandma had our uncle at 40.
I'm not. I'm saying anyone. I'm talking about my personal.
Oh,
It
yeah.
seems crazy to start over at that point in my head.
I don't know. I think it'd be so fun to be
Yeah.
like
It's hard enough 13 months later.
20 years from now, I could be
10
45 and be an empty nester. We're just like partying it up. That'd be so fun. Abby.
Yeah, we
Are
gotta
you
do
just
that.
trying to party?
I like this girl a lot. I like spending time with her a lot.
He thinks that I won't love him as much if I have more babies.
Aw. You know,
What?
we'll give it a couple years. We won't talk about it anymore, and then we'll come back.
Well, you
Nope.
guys, this has been so much fun chatting it up. We have an appointment to go get to.
Go get.
But-
what was that?
Do you think this will
Go
be
get
the
Go
the
get it.
least watched podcast?
No. Why would
Why
you say
are you
that?
saying that?
No. Definitely not.
This has been such a fun conversation.
Go subscribe to Caleb and Abby's YouTube channel.
We just
go-
did Trader Joe's fall bangers and lamers.
Lamers.
I can't wait to watch that video. I love Trader Joe's fall.
And we'll have you guys on during Christmas time, and we'll do all their.
We're
Wait,
do our-
should we make another Yule log
Wait, we can
this
make a
year?
Yule log
We
video.
should.
We can do that.
We need to go
Let's
back.
do it.
Go back
do
on
it.
our YouTube channel from like 3 years ago. We made Yule logs for Christmas time with Caleb and
They
Abby.
were
You guys made
terrible.
your logs.
No,
I slept.
they tasted so good.
You fall asleep.
I thought they.
It was like 2 in the morning.
3, 2, 1.
Peace out, dudes.